Hello, guys. Tell me honestly, you've become a little rusty. Samsung is becoming more and more Chinese, and Samsung somehow seems to be slowly becoming a thing of the past. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everything is not so in reality. But I got the feeling that about the company Samsung in phones is remembered only when they announce their new Galaxy S23 Ultra. S24 will be coming soon, but the rest somehow seems to be about Samsung already died down, as if no one remembers about them anymore. There's not much news, but in fact they have life continues. And in fact they are releasing new models. And specifically today, we will look at the new model of the end, 2023. It will be focused on the budget segment, 2024. It will be active, compete with the same Chinese, with POC, with Xiaomi, with Realme, with X and Techno fight for the most popular mass segment of phones. These are mid-range and state employees. This particular phone, how much does it cost now? What kind of model is this? Galaxy A05S, exactly IRS, makes this phone look like an improved one. But from the index, you can understand that this is the junior line is zeros. These are not even tens. That is, no 50. There is no fifth. No 50, the fourth, cannot be compared with the A05 SE. This is one of the simplest things the company has, and it's unfortunate to say this, but still, it happened. And even in the most budget line, they decided to make such a thin box. And this means that our delivery set will be reduced. How it infuriates me. If only the Chinese knew that even in normal budget phones, they give a good set of supplies, large ones, thick boxes. Samsung saves on the cheapest phones, in short. How much does this model cost now? Are you surprised by the 64GB version? I forgot what 64GB costs. $145. Well, Samsung in its own style. Of course, I took the silver one. In short, I even have it drawn in the box, yes, in silver color. Well, let's open this miracle, guys. How much I like Samsung on the one hand. On the other hand, I'm blown away by their prices because of what they think they are. As if they are Apple, I don't know who they are, trying to compete with. Wow, a special product for the Caucasus or something. Or what does that mean? Official product. I don't understand Galaxy, guys. A05S limitless 6.7-inch screen, 90 Hz limitless, it's like frameless. Probably they mean 3 cameras. The main one is 50 megapixels. Really? 3 cameras, further capacious battery 5000 mAh, and super fast charging 25W. Well, that's it. They are certainly strong tint marked C25W charger sold separately. Here's a super fast one for you charging. And secondly, they didn't put it in the kit. Well done. What's next here? Still, the nominal value may be noted thin frames around the screen. The actual visible area is smaller than the rounded ones. The corners are shorter. Well, here, you can feel it. Yes, you need the savings right away. Of course you need a cover needed, but it won't be here. There will only be a USB cable. Type-C, double-sided type, for the fastest power supply and this is a piece of paper like this, next. That's all, guys. That's enough for you more. You don't need anything. Well, there will be a paper clip and everything. That is, the guys are like a flagship. The build is only a cable and paper clip, more and more, nothing else. You want a protective film. But we won't stick it on for you from the factory. Why make the screen blank simple so that you quickly break it, scratch it, and come to us for a new phone means what it means with us? Read here, we have 2 SIM cards plus a flash drive. This is good. There is a sealing rubber band plastic tray. The phone itself is also entirely made of plastic. The side is made of plastic. The back is made of plastic. It looks like a typical Samsung, that is, they are all now the same in design. Look at all Samsung and Galaxy S, that Galaxy. What about Galaxy? MF. All they are the same. And it scares me a little because it's not clear what kind of phone you bought. Galaxy A05, maybe. Similar to Galaxy S23. What's so funny? I don't understand. Well, they're all the same. Well, there really would be there are more differences. What's funny? But at least they brought a new color. This silver color suits me because I think it looks beautiful. The matte surface doesn't leave fingerprints. Simple cameras, no signatures like the Chinese have a super camera and 50 megapixels. There is no aperture at all. There is no inscription near the camera. This is a plus E. But at the bottom there are inscriptions. It was made in China. Samsung made in China at Samsung. By the way, the logos are always at the bottom. I like this arrangement. Sometimes someone else has an Apple logo. Xiaomi Poco happens here, not Poco happens near the cameras, but Realme happens somewhere here near LA in the center. A Samsung has a bottom, so below is a charging connector, a headphone jack, a microphone. The speaker on the right is the power button. It also has a scanner, a volume rocker at the top, a microphone. Everything. Everything. I turn on the phone, a big phone, then a 01. There were small ones. Now they are diagonally. They are all healthy phones. Even the most budget Samsung G. If I may say so, it's budget. It's probably not budget anymore. $150 no longer quite. Budget already average really little. Phone, so the phone is being launched turning on Samsung Galaxy powered by Android. Well, Samsung, let's turn on quickly, we're waiting. I wonder what it's on Android. Will work on the 14th or 13th. Well, something tells me that most likely on the 13th, it is possible to then upgrade to. On the 14th, Samsung is now also trying to update its phones longer. But it's unlikely on the 14th right now it will work. So the phone has started, it has started now. We need unlock it and see these wonderful, magnificent, beautiful masterpieces frames. Of course, this is a state employee. So here are the frames. Oh, what kind of lashes, legs? Legs. Guys, she's my favorite one. We here, it is my favorite Samsung, how I returned home. Look, but isn't this a miracle? Of course the chin here is tough. The chin is tough, by the way. It's completely flat without any rounding, even at the edges. 2.5D on one side. It's convenient and on. It will be convenient for gluing glass. I would immediately order glass on it and glue the diagonal right there at once. Here, 6.7 inches. Full resolution, HD plus, but it's not bad that it's not HD, but full HD plus 194G. This mobile weighs thickness, 8.88 middle length, 168 middle width, 77.8. In front, we have glass on the back, plastic, and the side is also made of plastic. The screen is here. IPS at 90. 6.7 aspect ratio 20. To D could certainly reduce this chin, but not reduced. So go to settings. Oh, what a big drop here. Some healthy drop. Look at me. The top frame is larger than the side one. Well, the framework is of course here. Hello 2018. So let's look at the information about the phone and information about the software. And the 13th Android is installed here. Unfortunately, this is not the new 14th, but for now, 13th. But in the future, the version of Only 5.1 will probably be updated. This is the software, simple. The system, that according to the processor, the screen is by the way. 90 Hz in the screen settings, you can switch to 90 Hz. We go into the display here, there is a brightness adjustment, light, dark theme, adaptive, brightness, comfort for the eyes, yellow mode, font sizes can be different from the font and so where weight and where the frequency of the navigation bar can be changed, you can control it with gestures or I'm a fool or the phone has 60 Hz but I can't find it in the settings. How here to change it is not that no, also no, and where question for, where is the 90 Hz switch? Or maybe it's here by default somehow. Is it worth it? Or maybe it's not in the screen settings. And somewhere in the wallpaper, there are no guys. If you know right, but for some reason, I don't see the update frequency here at 90 Hz. But for some reason, I didn't find this switch in the settings. Let's move on. And what kind of processor is this? Interesting? Yes. Well, in fact, the processor here is so good on the one hand, but on the other hand, for this money you can try searching for something on Helio G99, but you are unlikely to find anything in official stores. So Snapdragon 680 with support for 4G, but not 5G. Not a bad good processor actually in many phones. It is installed in the same Redmi 10C6 with the same technical process and video core Adreno 610 in general for undemanding applications for ordinary tasks. This is enough, the most important thing. The bottleneck in this phone is that the minimum version has only 64 GB of memory and 4 gigs of RAM for the same money. In principle, for 145. The Chinese can already offer 128 GB of internal memory and 6 GB of RAM here. 464. Oh, how is this? It's not enough now. It's very little that according to Mark N2, it's barely enough to scrape 300,000, which, as you understand, is not really much, of course. But on the other hand, progress is visible, unlike other previous ones. Models A0, 0.4 there, 0.3 here. There are already at least 300,000 and very low heating only up to 33 degree. It warmed up, and 2 points lost the battery. The phone is cold, but when that's what makes it energy efficient cold, but also not the most powerful, the memory speed here is somehow incomprehensible and seems like a little higher than MMC 5.1 and seems to be a little short of UFS 2.2. Then there is some strange write speed, very low, 146 MB per second, read 386 NFC module, a useful function to link your card. NFC module is present here. You can link the card and pay using further on this phone. I tested it in multi-touch here. 10 touches, it is multi-touch all the time. Samsung's touch is perfect. In general, it's super tuned, super sensitive, even on cheap phones. Never any problems with the touch with some kind of delay in general. They have a real touch. I don't know, maybe they do it themselves. The touch is not, they interrupt each other. They don't stick together like the Chinese. Even some of the more expensive ones are actually straight. Well, that super sensitive touch is a pleasure to use the phone. Just scroll something there and flip through it. Zoomy. Like this. That's because the touch here is super reactive and sensitive in general. It's just a thrill. It's really just a thrill, even though the phone is cheap. But the touch here is like that of some flagship, and the screen itself is at least and without a film, but the finger glides well on it. As I understand, there is some kind of coating to make it easier for the finger to glide, and even at first the fingerprints don't really remain. That is, the screen seems to be clean all the time. But I wouldn't do that hope for this screen. I would still stick the glass here. Unlocking happens using a scanner like this. We take our finger and put it on, and nothing happens for some reason. What is I? I have face unlock. Using the front camera, let's now quickly see what's wrong with our finger, why it doesn't want to unlock. Damn, Samsung has such complicated settings, guys. That's how we take it and put the scanner in the side power button. I think this is the most convenient solution now. Whatever is possible. Whatever is most convenient scanner on the side. Well, especially for right-handed people. I don't know how left-handed people have to unlock it like this, but it's ready. Let's check how it all works, Hop. Yes, with such a characteristic click, it's pleasant. The animation of waking up the screen is so leisurely. Well, yes, it works like Samsung. It's not such a company whose scanner will not work on the side. Everything is fine, but the phone did not perform well in the throttling test. Very good because it literally worked fine for 4 minutes. And then bam, performance just sharply dropped to 30-20 about, I have such a processor and it's not the most powerful anyway. You also need to factor in the fact that under load you will have another 20% of performance throttling and, like no longer 300,000 in Antutu and minus 60,000, it will be 240,000 that is literally played there for a couple of minutes. Your performance drops 20% is not very fun on the one hand. That is, if I were Samsung still, I would probably choose some Helio G99 because it's a little better. It doesn't troll like that either here, it's just that it's somehow specially strangled. Maybe so that it doesn't consume a lot of energy as soon as it sees that it's working under load, immediately limits its frequencies for several minutes so that it doesn't overheat on purpose or so that it doesn't consume a lot of energy. Well, in short, this is the graph that I can't see on a budget phone with cold processor that there will be such throttling as on some Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Well, although it's not much, it's big, it doesn't go into the red zone, but it's still unpleasant to lose 20-30 about literally after 5 minutes under load. By the way, right now, while PUBG is loading, I still have MMC 5.1 memory here. This is it. Unexpectedly, usually with such a processor. There is UFS 2.2 memory. That is, they saved money. It turns out they installed more turnouts so fast, but maybe it's for me. There is a suspicion that perhaps the 64 gig version received MMC 5.1, the 128 gig version already received normal UFS drive because damn, I've never seen anything with Snapdragon 680 had the old memory of this MMC. But it's very strange, Samsung. Something weird saves on everything, so PUBG is loading for me. See what long downloads. I think that's all due to slow memory. Everything took a very long time for the phone to turn on. You saw how long did it take to start, just damn these long loading times for loading the installation? Yes, this is not a fast phone. 100% for this money, you can find it much faster. Oh, compilation of resources. Okay, I'll pause for now. Well, here it is, a PUBG game. So what do we have here? You know, the graphics are pretty normal, but it's running in full screen. 6.7 inches. Damn, it would be even normal 6.7 before I would have gasped and said, wow, where are you sculpting? But now I'm already used to it and even somehow don't pay attention that the phone is very long. Healthy 20 aspect ratio is almost like 21 to D, which Sonia did this before. Remember, they were so narrow, they had long phones? It seemed like they were crazy. No one would use this way. And now almost every phone has an aspect ratio of D9. That is very elongated. That's when you play horizontally. In principle, this is a plus because the picture turns out wide and long. You see what you have on the right, what's happening on the left. And it's convenient to vertically scroll through a long feed with news on one side. You're sitting somewhere there, just like Chikaev. You're scrolling through a lot of information on your phone. It fits onto the screen like this. In general, probably yes, even though we all spit from these big screens. But still, if we make screens now, we'll return them to how they were 10 years ago. Back, everyone would probably have said, no, need to return it back to how it was. I think it would be like that. Although everyone wants small screens. But if they really gave small screens, everyone would start saying, oh no, let's still get back to this. Let's not. Well, or at least some kind of balance there. 6.1 inches, 6.3 inches. Then the battery, it won't be possible to do more. Maybe. Well, now the time has come. Talk about the camera here. We have as many as 4 cameras. Yes, but don't rush to rejoice, because 2 of them are 2 plugs of 2 megapixels are located, as I understand it. At the bottom, here are 2 megapixel plug. And on top, and between them, there is a king camera of 50 megapixels, as is now usually the case. The Chinese make 1 good one and 2 similar plugs. One camera for portraits is 2 megapixels. The other is for macro photography. Then yes, no Shirik costs more than these plugs. So they usually put plugs in budget phones to create the appearance of a large number of cameras. And the front camera is 13 megapixels by 13 megapixels. What can record video? How can this phone record? Full HD 30 frames and Full HD 60 frames. This is it compares favorably with the Chinese. For that kind of money, a Chinese is unlikely to have a full record HD 60 frames, and Samsung has front camera, is also full HD 60 frames. Listen well, this is just the beginning. The smartphone of a novice video blogger is inexpensive, and at the same time you can shoot at least smooth video when recording a video. You can do a 10x zoom quite well, but digital zoom when taking photographs too, the most 10 times. Rick, no. There is HDR. You can change the aspect ratio, you can switch to 50 megapixel mode, which I will do now, and I take a photo with it, and for some reason he opens for me a screenshot of the throne test again. So I took a photo in the gallery. I don't want to go to it since for some reason it opens, or look, even Foy hand 50 megapixels photo is saved for a long time. Here I click, save again. For some reason, a screenshot of T comes out to me. Why do I want to see what I'm doing? Why does my screenshots folder open at all? I don't understand the photo. I click on the photo to open the gallery. It opens a folder with screenshots for me. Let's do it like this. Close everything again. I'll go into the camera. No, again, I'll come here again. For some reason, it opens. This is what it is. Once I close the camera, I go into the camera. Again, I take a photo again. I come here again and again. He screenshot opens for me. Why is this? So I don't understand. Okay, maybe something we have a problem with the 50 megapixel mode. I'm already taking photos. What's the third? I come here again. And again, this page opens for me. I cleared everything from the RAM. Maybe it's worth rebooting phone. Let's try now. This is a serious glitch, a serious bug. So, try number 2. Oh, camera slows down. Oh, Samsung time goes by state employees don't change. Let's see. Well, again, he gives me this screenshot. Well, my guys, I already rebooted the phone. I don't know why this is so, but for some reason, the camera does not open the last photo from the application, but opens the last screenshot. Let's see how the camera takes pictures. Well, listen to this classic 50-megapixel budget phone because noise is already visible here. The latter is no longer so clearly as on a flagship in general. Probably these 50 megapixels can more be considered as a marketing ploy to get you. This is simple enticement, and no matter how special it is, they don't expect anything cool like that. It seems to me that even the Chinese are on Helio G85 work, and tops are faster. Well, that's all he is. Slowly takes pictures slowly, especially in night mode. Saves everything slowly. The photos turn out wildly noisy, look. Well, some wild noises I really don't know. I was betting on this phone that it wouldn't be slow because it has at least a Snapdragon 600 line processor. But here I am. Now I'm looking at the memory. They installed a slow processor. It doesn't take out the memory. There's not enough RAM. Maybe it doesn't have enough ennui. Maybe more is needed. But here it is. There is a feeling that it is working right with the brake is with some kind of hesitation. This is some Redmi 9A, and it seems to me that they work faster. Damn, it looks like a processor, that's what it feels like. Redmi 10C runs on Snapdragon 680 faster than this phone. Well, somehow, I don't know, it doesn't roll at all, it doesn't. Hello? There are still some lags with the camera. I don't know. Me at last, guys. Oh my, finally, everything is delayed now in my... The camera opens the last picture and not a screenshot, but I scroll through and the sun is the same. Then for some reason they come to screenshots, although I have regular photos there. Okay, the battery is 5,000. The battery has a power-saving mode, like all phones. Where is he hiding here? This is the energy-saving mode. You can go into it at all. In short, guys, what can I say about Samsung? A05S, let's try to find good and not so good sides of this phone. So the strong side of this phone, this is, of course, the strength of the Samsung brand. After all, Samsung still has good liquidity. Samsung people they trust, they consider it a quality product. That is, they are not afraid to take it in case something falls off and stops work. That is the level of trust Samsung has. Great liquidity, also great. The second point, I would say that quite a good screen. That is, the frames are of course large, but in terms of brightness and clarity, the screen here is of a normal level. For this money, I would say that a fairly large screen will do, but I did not find an adjustment for the refresh rate. Third moment, the battery is not bad. It's just not bad because now everyone has such a battery and has a headphone jack. It is possible to install 2 SIM cards plus a flash drive for this too. Thank you very much. Now for cons. The phone works slowly. It is 100% slow. I am no longer used to this kind of work. It has large frames at the bottom, at the top. There are very large frames for modern phones. It has very weak equipment. In fact, there is nothing but a cable and a paperclip to open the SIM tray. Nothing else. Thirdly, he has cameras with 2 plugs. 2 plugs, and there is a lot of noise in the cameras. You take pictures, you look at the photos. They turn out grainy. They are noisy. The latest Android is not the 14th, although in principle they could now make it out of the box on the 14th Android already. The 14th Android came out, and there's also a small number minimum memory of 64 GB for that kind of money. I think it should have been done already. 128 total, very controversial. The decision is very controversial. I don't know, advise, do not advise. Everyone, of course, will make the decision themselves, but I would probably still be in the place of the person who wants exactly. This Samsung A05S would add $30 and take something from Chinese phones because what will you already get for $180? You will already get something completely different, device surcharge small, but at the same time you get such a jump and you will have, that is, it will be even more profitable purely economically to take the characteristics others. So this is my opinion about Samsung A05S. The only thing that will save him is the low price and some promotional offers when it costs less than $100. Then of course people will run to buy it because it's Samsung, because it's a well-known brand. The quality is cool. Although this is a Chinese assembly, it's the same thing. The same assembly as Chinese phones too in China. That is, it's not Korea anymore. Yes, it's just China. Made in China. Everything is also made from ordinary components. I'm sure that most of the components here are also from China. That is, in fact, it cannot be considered directly of some kind of Korean quality when it is made in China from Chinese components. Well, what's Korean here? Yes, the Koreans came up with everything, and the price is Korean and not Chinese. That's what's most important in short. It will be saved by the sale of the stock for $100, has not yet gone anywhere. Good luck to everyone. Bye.